A preseason look at the teams in Section 4AA may have led you to believe you'd be looking at the Cardinals and the Mustangs in the final. However, the teams took drastically different paths through their regular season. The Mustangs steamrolling the competition on their way to a 19-3 mark and a second-place finish in the Twin Cities Suburban East. The Cardinals, meanwhile, were up and down as they finished just 12-10. The Cardinals' up and down season may have hit an all-time low when they were blown out at Mounds View in mid-season. The Mustangs totally dominated that night. The Cardinals shot just 30% from the field and trailed by 30 points at the end of 3 quarters. But Zig Kauls knew that if the teams met again, he would be seeing a different Coon Rapids team.
No, we expected a little closer game, but it wasn't any easier than we expected. They were very physical, and it was hard. The points don't show how tough you had to play.
The teams were seeded 1 and 2 in Section 4AA, and after avoiding first-round upsets, they would handle their semifinal opponents with ease. Mounds View avenging a costly second-half loss against Stillwater, and the Cardinals completing a 3-game sweep against their arch rivals from Champlin Park. Who's the best in Section 4AA? We'll find out next. The Section 4AA final, the Cardinals and the Mustangs from the Pavilion, is next. Cardinals have not been in a section final since 1983 when they went to the state championship game led by Tom Copa. They're back for the first time in 11 years. Well, the Mustangs are back after just a 2-year absence. They won back-to-back titles in 89 and 90. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Pavilion. It's Mark Karatsky and Anthony LaPanta, and welcome to the Section 4AA final. It's our season finale here on Channel 52, and we're glad that you could join us. And Mark, we talked early in the season about how these two might be the top 2 teams in the section, and different seasons to get here, but the bottom line is they're here with a trip to the tournament on the line.
Well, Coon Rapids, we said all along, has a lot of potential, and they finally put it together during region time, and they made a good showing in the region, and they have a real good shot to beat Mounds View tonight.
And we've talked all year about this Section 4AA being wide open, really from 2 through 10, and that held true in the sectionals. But the one team that's been consistent is Mounds View, and that's why the Mustangs are 21 and 3 coming into play tonight. A couple of reasons for that consistency: Chad Bey and Eric Ferch. Chad Bey, 23 straight games in double figures. The only game all year that he missed it was against Blaine in the opener, and Eric Ferch has been a consistent guard all year for the Mustangs.
Well, Chad Bey and Eric Ferch have had tremendous years for Mounds View. They've been very consistent. Chad Bey has done it all for Mounds View. He's hitting the rebounds hard, and he's scoring quite a bit of points. Eric Ferch is a slasher. He likes to get to the bucket, and he's been doing a fine job as well. They've been two of the Mounds View's most consistent players all season.
I asked Coach Zig Kauls before the game if he felt the best 2 teams in the section were here, and he said, you know, I'm not convinced that we are the best team in the section. We may just be the most consistent, and a lot of times that is the best.
Well, most coaches would like to be consistent better than, like you say, you'd rather be lucky than good, and most coaches would take consistency over inconsistency. And right now, Mounds View's just played solid all year long, and Coon Rapids has been a little up and down, but they seem to be playing their best ball right now.
It's been a rocky road for the Cards, but perhaps not as rocky as the 14-10 record would indicate, because they've lost some tough ball games this year. 7 times they've played in games decided by 3 or less. They've won only 1 of those. You turn that around, they go 6-1 in these games, and we're talking today about a team that's got 19 wins and is looking like a legitimate state title contender.
Well, I think Coon Rapids feels that they should be here. I think they feel like they're a state tournament caliber team, and those tough games down the stretch, sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, and they just been on the losing end of most of those games. But it makes you a better team along the way, I think.
It certainly does in most cases, and we'll see if that holds true for the Cardinals tonight. But in order for it to hold true, this needs to be a close game. And the last time they played, it was far from it. The Mustangs led 60-30 at the end of 3 quarters. It was a dreadful night for Coon Rapids. They shot only 30% from the floor, which was their worst output of the season. They turned it over 28 times. No team has turned it over that many times against the Mustangs since then. It was really just a night where things started badly and got worse as the night went on.
Oh, really did. I was talking to John Young after the game that night, and he said that was probably one of our worst games all season long. And so I think that might be misleading for Mounds View, because they might think they have a cakewalk here tonight, beating them by 30 early on. But I think that's Coon Rapids' advantage, getting blown out. They have locker room material on their locker room, and it should be Coon Rapids who will have more fire to win tonight, just because they're coming off that embarrassing night.
There are some key matchups in this one. The teams seem to match up very well. The depth favors Mounds View. The guards may favor Coon Rapids. We'll talk more about that after tonight's starting lineups in the opening tap when we return to the Pavilion. This is the Section 4 AA final on KABL. We'll be back at the Pavilion on the campus of the University of Minnesota right after this.
Gold Star is great entertainment.
Gold Star is premium movies without the premium price.
With a Gold Star package from Meredith Cable, you can take 2 premium movie services for only $11.90 per month.
That's right, just $11.90 a month for any combination of HBO, Showtime, the Movie Channel, Cinemax, or the Disney Channel.
Go for the gold. Go for the very best in movies, sports, and entertainment with a Gold Star package from Meredith Cable.
Call 483-9999 today.
Can the Cardinals make their first state tournament appearance in 11 years, or will the Mustangs return after a 2-year absence? The lineups are next. Let's turn it over to the public address announcer, Mark Graves.
4 AA basketball game, and then we'll meet the starting lineups to be introduced in an alternate fashion. First, they're the visitors. They'll be wearing the white uniforms with red and black. They come from the Twin Cities Suburban Conference. They are the 2nd seeded team in this tournament, and they have an overall record this season of 14 victories and 10 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, the Coon Rapids Cardinals. Their opponents this evening, they'll be the home team. They'll be wearing the green uniforms with white numerals. They're also from the Twin Cities Suburban Conference. They're the top seeded team in this tournament. They have an overall record of 21 wins and 3 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mounds View Mustangs. I now direct your attention to the center of the playing floor for the introduction of today's starting lineups to be introduced in an alternate fashion. First at the guard positions, at guard for Coon Rapids, 6'3" senior number 22, Jared Johnson. At guard for Mounds View, 5'10" senior number 23, Sean Bagan. At guard for the Cardinals, 6' senior co-captain number 24, John Young. At guard for the Mustangs, 6'1" senior number 35, Eric Ferch. At the forwards tonight, at one forward for Coon Rapids, 6'4" junior, number 32, Kyle Johnson. And at forward for Mounds View, 6'3" senior, number 30, Jeff Jacobs. At the other forward for the Cardinals, 6'4" senior co-captain number 54, Ryan Schutte. At the other forward for the Mustangs, 6'4" senior number 32, Pete Sulack. At center tonight for Coon Rapids, 6'8" junior number 52, Ryan Schultz. And in the middle for Mounds View, 6'5" junior number 53, Chad Bey. Head coach of the Coon Rapids Cardinals is Chris Biggins. And the head coach of the Mounds View Mustangs is Zig Kauls. This is for the Region 4 AA Championship in 1994. The winner of tonight's game advances to the Class AA State Basketball Tournament next week at the St. Paul Civic Center.
There you have the lineups. The matchups, Mark, are very interesting. You talk about this Cardinal team, you have to start with that talented backcourt, John Young, Kyle Johnson, and Jared Johnson. Mustangs may have trouble matching up with those three.
Well, we thought they might in the first game, and Mounds View handled them pretty easily. I think the key is going to be keeping John Young in the ballgame. He got in foul trouble early last game. But really, they don't function well without their good point guard, John Young. He really gets them set up in their offense, and he seems to get the guys the ball in the right time.
That's the only time in memory that John Young was in foul trouble, and you remember he and Kyle Johnson had a dreadful night shooting the ball. They started out 0 for 11 between the two of them. Opening tap controlled by the Mustangs, and Ferch hands it off to Bagan. We're underway from the Pavilion. Bagan drives by Young. Entry pass finds Ferch, but he missed the layup. A rebound, Schutte. Cards into the front court. Kyle Johnson hands it out to Young. Young watched by Bagan. Mustangs open man-to-man. Johnson inside. Schultz missed it. Rebound, Jacobs. And the Mustangs turn it over. The long pass goes over the head of Chad Bey, and Mounds View gives it up.
Both teams look a little jittery. First couple possessions of a region final are usually like this.
Cardinals have defeated Irondale and Champlain Park to get here. The Mustangs in their two playoff games hammered Spring Lake Park and then beat Stillwater. Schultz watched by Bey. Johnson, entry pass, Kyle, turnaround jumper, good. Cardinals on the board first.
Well, that's not a good sign for Mounds View. Kyle Johnson, if he gets started hot, he'll stay hot most of the game. Shows his diversity there, posting up Eric Ferch. He can also take an outside shot as well. He's a very good shooter.
Bey outside the arc, watched by Schultz. Bagan for Jacobs. Schutte opens on him. Bagan inside Bey. It was tipped, but Sulack came up with it. Sulack on the wing. Mustangs patient. Ferch into traffic. Try to get it to Bey. Bey draws the foul and will go to the line. Awful lot of contact under their mark. The officials let them play for most of that possession.
They really did. There was quite a bit of contact, like you say. Take another look at it here.
Bey will be going to the stripe. He's a frequent visitor to that foul line. On the season, an even 60%. He gets the first, and the Mustangs are on the board. A minute 30 into this ball game.
Do you think we'll see Schutte working on Bey at all tonight?
I would imagine that the Cardinals will try and switch it up. Give both Schutte and Schultz shots at stopping the big man. Bey is really the key for the Mustangs, Mark. All these other guards can have up and down evenings, but when Chad Bey's on, the Mustangs are tough to beat. Cards turn it over. Ferch. Bey shuffled the feet and traveled.
You can see early on, Mounds View knows how important it is to get Chad Bey in the ballgame. Every time down, he's touched the ball. The guards are looking to get him some touches, get him in the flow right away. Sometimes if a guy doesn't get any touches early, he's out of the flow for the whole game.
Young into the front court. Kyle Johnson watched by Ferch. Ferch pokes it away. Eric Ferch with the steal. Ferch will take it coast to coast and draw the foul. Ferch, such a great penetrator, Mark. You talked about it in the pregame, and I think that's one part of his game that's just gotten better and better as the year goes on. One of the keys is how well he uses his left hand.
Yeah, he really does. You see right there, crossover right to his left hand where he saw the opening, and he gets to the free throw line.
He gets the first free throw. Mustangs on top. The foul went against Schultz, his second. And Coach Biggins may have to go to his bench a little quicker than he wanted to. They're not a very deep team. They'll only use 7. He does not want to be put in the spot he was in the first meeting. Cards break the press. Kyle for 3. Missed everything. Rebound Ferch. But a steal by Schutte in the backcourt.
Boy, how often do you see that? A big guy getting the ball away from Ferch.
Here's Schutte on the post, a charging foul, and he turns it back over.
Well, just what hurt Coon Rapids in the first time was getting Schutte and Schultz in foul trouble, and right now they got 3 between them both.
There's another look. Mustangs with the ball up by 2.
They really need big games out of Schutte and Schultz tonight.
Ferch is all alone on the baseline.
It's a nice look by Bagan. Found Ferch on a flex cut. Both these teams using the flex offense a little bit.
Jared Johnson on the drive. He missed everything. Give it to the Mustangs. And the Cardinals have missed badly a couple of times in a row. Michael Kauls checks in for Mounds View.
I think Coon Rapids has to make sure that Young gets them into their offense and make sure that everyone's in the right spots. They've taken some unorthodox shots here early on.
The winner will face the Section 3AA champion in the opening round of the tournament next Wednesday night. Bey missed it. Rebound, Jared Johnson.
Boy, Coon Rapids really collapsed down on Bey. He had 3 defenders on him right there.
Pass was tipped and then touched by Schultz, so the Cardinals turn it over. 4 turnovers by Coon Rapids in the opening minutes. Cardinals scored first, but we're nearly halfway through the first quarter, and they still have just the 1 deuce. They're down by 4. Sulack from 19. Came up short, got his own rebound, then goes to the floor, and we'll have a jump ball. Give it to the Cardinals. Mustangs could really use some offense from Mr. Sulack. He had that great start and then has been battling injuries ever since. He's never really gotten back to that form we saw early in the season, Mark.
No, he really hasn't. He struggled a little bit with the shooting when he's come back, and really he's the kind of player that could break out of that any time. He looks to be as healthy as ever. He seems to be just as quick as he was before the injury, so I look for Sulack to break out one of these games. He
had 13 in the quarterfinals against Spring Lake Park, but that's the only night he's been in double figures since the last time they faced Coon Rapids.
Seems like since he's been back from his injury, he hasn't really been looking to score.
Here's Michael Kauls. He's been scoring with the best of them the last couple of games for the Mustangs. Ferch missed it. Rebound Young. Mustangs are 1 out of 5 from the field. The Cardinals 1 out of 6. Schutte to Schultz over Bey. Can't get the roll. Rebound tapped out of bounds by Schutte. Mark Charlesworth checks in for the Cardinals. Cardinals really need to get some production from that front line, Mark. They scored only 17 points between the 3 of them, talking about Schutte, Schultz, and Charlesworth against Champlain Park. if they don't score more than 17 tonight, I don't see how they can beat this Mustang team.
Well, it's going to be tough, but really every team wants to get the ball down low and score down low, and so that's got to be one of their concerns, is getting all those guys the ball early on.
Feed inside to Olson. He's double teamed. Kicks it out to Kauls. Uses the screen from Olson and drills the jump shot. Mike Kauls with an early bucket for the Mustangs, and it's 8-2 Mounds View. They've scored 8 in a row. The Cardinals fell behind Champlin Park 8-0 to start the semifinal game. Started out 0 for 5 and turned it over 5 times. Here Ferch pokes it away. That's turnover number 5, and Eric Ferch with the layup makes it 10-2.
Boy, how many times have we seen Eric Ferch do that from a guy who just holds up the ball and just gets it with his quick hands. Eric Ferch may be the best defender in this region.
6 points for Ferch. 8-point lead. Schutte. Nice feed from Jared Johnson, and that's what the Cardinals needed. It breaks a 10-point run. Kauls for 3 is right on the money. Markey hit 8-9 in a row regularly during the pregame warm-up. And Mike Kauls makes it a 9-point game. It's 13-4. And what a run Mike Kauls has been on here in the second half. In the first 12 games of the season, Kauls averaged only 4.1 points a ball game. But in the last 13, he's averaging 8.6, and look at the three-point shooting. That's been the big key.
Well, early on, he was a little nervous. He didn't know quite, his role and stuff, and it's tough being a coach's son. But he came through in the big way in the second half. He's really settled down. You can see this. You can see here early on tonight that he's shooting very, very well.
He's the second leading scorer on this Mustang team in the postseason, Mark. He's averaging 12 points a game in the 2 postseason games. And if he can shoot from the outside, this Mustang offense becomes so dangerous, because you talk about the weapons they have with Ferch's ability to penetrate, Bey's consistent scoring inside, and a couple of scrappers like Sulack and Jacobs, and all of a sudden you throw in a three-point gunner like Kauls, and this team is as good as any in the state.
Well, they really are. They seem to have all the ingredients of what the great teams have. They have, like you mentioned, they have a slasher, they have a point guard, they have shooter, and they have a tough inside game, and they have nice complementary players.
Cardinals have scored 2 points in the last 5.5 minutes. And the Mustangs are on a 13-2 run. They lead it by 9. Kyle Johnson works against Kauls, draws the foul, but can't get the roll. That's a matchup that the Cardinals like when they see Mike Kauls playing against Kyle Johnson.
Well, there's not too many guys in this region that can guard Kyle Johnson. He's very tough to guard. He's got the quickness of a guy like Ferch, and he's got the shooting ability in the same class as Mike Kauls.
Look at the up and down scoring for Kyle Johnson, and you see when you talk about inconsistencies for the Cardinals, he scores 29 and 26 with a 3-point game sandwiched in between. He's been up and down, and really as he's gone, so has this Cardinal offense on many occasions.
Well, they really have. They like to get the ball in his hands. He takes a lot of shots. A lot of times when you have one big scorer, your night depends on how he's doing.
He gets the second free throw. He has 3, and it's 13-5. Of course, he's already done what it took him until the fourth quarter to do in the first meeting, and that's hit one from the outside. He did not have a field goal until the fourth quarter in the first meeting. Sulack got free on the baseline, and there's that baseline cut one more time, Mark. They've hit their man 3 times already.
Well, Coon Rapids is going to have to stop that. They're getting killed down low right now.
Watch it again. Chad Bey with the feed this time.
It's just a basic flex cut. Coon Rapids runs the same type of offense.
Foul went against Kyle Johnson, his first. Schultz already on the bench with 2 for the Cardinals. Sulack hits the first.
Schultz is a lot like Kauls. He's really had a big second half down the stretch. Didn't play too much early on and really got his first extensive action against Mounds View. The game that we saw. He's been improving ever since.
Sulack missed the second free throw, rebounded by Jared Johnson. Mustangs on top by 9, 14-5. Minute 36 remaining, first period. Charlesworth caught the ball on the post and passed up an easy shot. Kyle for three comes up short. And the rebound grabbed by Sulack. Into the front court, Jacobs all the way for the layup. Mustangs by 11.
That was a very nice pass by Ferch. Threw the look-away dump off to Jacobs, who finishes very well for Mounds View.
Mark, on that last possession for the Cardinals, you saw them go to the high post. They're so much more dangerous when Kyle Johnson comes up there because he's the one player who can turn around and stick that jump shot.
He really is. We saw that early on, too, with Coon Rapids. They tend to put the guys who don't really have the ability to score from there, and you see right there, Schutte threw up a brick. Whereas you put Kyle Johnson in there, they're going to have to respect that, and it opens up everything else.
Great defense by Charlesworth to tip that one away. Jared Johnson in the corner, entry pass for Charlesworth. He was bumped from behind by Jeff Jacobs. And Ryan Schultz returns for the Cards.
You know, Anthony, it's not John Young's role really to score on this team, but don't you think he really needs to step up a little bit and take some of that load off of Kyle Johnson?
If he can get himself free for the shot, I think that's the key. He's having his hands full working against some of these Mustang guards. And he was a key in the first meeting, had just 9, and most of those came from the free throw line. Young watched here by Bagan. Here's Schultz. Schultz missed it. I think that's what the Cardinals need right now, is someone to hit a jump shot from inside.
They've had their opportunities.
And you know, in the first meeting they really did. They kept getting good shots out of their half-court set and just couldn't get them to drop and found themselves down by 20. Here they're already down 11. Bey from 19 is off. Schutte with a rebound. 3 seconds to go. Young gets it off and almost hit it. At the end of the first quarter, it's all Mounds View. They lead it by 11. The Section 4 AA final from the Pavilion at the University of Minnesota returns in just a moment.
To warn me about that.
Second quarter action. Mustangs on top by 11. A berth in the tourney on the line. Schultz turned his back. Bagan feeds Bey, and Bey has 4. Mustangs lead by 13.
That's the thing with Mounds View. They've got so many weapons that you can't turn your back on any of these guys because they all can burn you on the offensive end.
Mustangs have switched to a zone. Schutte on the baseline. Jared from the wing. Cardinals don't seem to have anyone who wants to step forward and take the big shot right here, Mark.
They really don't. They gave Schutte the whole baseline there, and he opted to throw it back out.
Schutte finds John Young. Young will penetrate. Nice dish for Schultz, but it's tipped away by Bagan.
Didn't appear to be ready for that pass.
And the Mustangs have it back, leading by 13. Bagan. There's Ferch all alone on the baseline.
Well, Mounds View is just taking control of this game. Coon Rapids is really noted for their strong defense, and we haven't seen any of it tonight.
Mustangs are on a 20-3 run, and Schultz finally answers with a bucket. Cardinals had scored 3 points in over 8 minutes. It's 20-7 in favor of the Mustangs. Ferch outside Bagan. Sulack from 14 comes up short. Rebound Schutte. Cardinals need to take advantage here. Mustangs back into a man-to-man. Schutte. Here's Schutte, has it blocked by Ferch, but Jared Johnson gets it back. He missed it, and Sulack with a rebound.
Boy, Ferch is all over the court defensively.
Here's a steal by Young.
Coon Rapids has numbers here.
Young stops, fires, hits the three.
They're only calling that a 2.
They give him just a 2. It is 20-9. Young still looking to find out why it wasn't a 3. Kyle Johnson with a steal. And Johnson is hammered by Bagan.
I thought that could have been intentional.
Oh, I agree. I really thought it should have been called an intentional foul. Kyle Johnson will go to the line. Let's watch it again. This looks intentional to me. Didn't look as bad on the replay as it did in real life.
From our angle, we had a difficult angle. We just saw his arm being taken out. It looked like he grabbed him, but that was a legitimate foul. He went for the ball. You got to go. You can't. Zig Kauls teaches hard fouls, not giving them easy 2.
And if you're going to foul someone on a layup, you better make sure they're going to miss it.
Especially in a region final.
It is 20-10, and perhaps that bucket by John Young has awakened this Cardinal offense. They've scored 6 in a row, and the lead is 9, 20-11.
Well, they've really done it on the defensive end.
Here, Ferch blows right through the defense and hits the left-handed layup.
Seems like once they get some momentum going on the defensive end, then they give up an easy bucket like that one to Ferch.
Ferch has 10. Charlesworth. Someone needs to be able to hit that shot in the middle of the Mustang zone. Johnson from 18. His first bucket. It's a 9-point game. Another near steal. The Cardinal pressure doesn't seem to bother Ferch, but then Ferch turns it over. 6 turnovers by Mounds View.
Coon Rapids is going to have to use this momentum right now to make this a ball game here. They have a great chance to.
Charlesworth missed it. Rebound, Charlesworth lowers his shoulder, puts it up and in. He'll go to the line.
And look at Coon Rapids. All of a sudden they got some life. They're telling the fans to get up off their feet. And this is what a region final's all about. We got a lot more excitement than we did about 5 minutes ago.
The Mustangs had a chance to deliver the knockout punch when they were on top 20-5. And instead, right now, the Cardinals are very much in this basketball game.
Well, Charlesworth has a knack for getting the offensive rebounds.
Missed the free throw. Rebound, Thad Olson. Offensive rebounds have plagued the Mustangs as of late, Mark. They've given up in double figures in offensive boards in each of their playoff games. Mike Kauls back in, has 5 early points, his first action of the second quarter. Here he is, stepped on the line, but drills it anyway. Kauls is 3 for 3, and he has 7 points.
Boy, he's really in a nice zone right now.
He stepped up and drilled back-to-back threes at a critical time in that Stillwater game that broke open a close ball game.
Seems to have the knack for picking up the Mustangs when they need it the most. And then he kind of goes quiet for a little while. You don't hear about him for the whole game, it doesn't seem like.
There's Kyle turning around and firing the shot. It's no good. Schutte has it blocked by Thad Olson. But Jared Johnson comes away with it. Charlesworth missed it. Schutte with a tap. Schutte again, and this time he puts it in.
Well, Coon Rapids cleaning the offensive rebounds. Hard work paid off for Schutte right there.
And you see the work on the offensive glass. It's a 7-point Mustang lead. Kauls for 3. Missed it. Rebound, Thad Olson.
I was wondering why the refs hadn't stopped the action and fixed the net. Now they've done that.
Eric Ferch returns for the Mustangs. This is the 4th time in the last 6 years that these teams have met in the postseason. And the Mustangs have won the last 3, including 2 by very decisive margins. Beat them by 42 a couple of years ago. Kauls misses. Thad Olson with a tap. That's no good, and Kyle Johnson grabs it. Schutte has it poked away by Ferch, and he's fouled.
You know, Anthony, as far as Coon Rapids has come here during this comeback, they're still 7 points down, so you kind of know how big of a grave they had to pull themselves out of just to get to this point.
Watch it again. Eric Ferch jumps out against Schutte and apparently got him on the wrist.
I think they got to put Kyle Johnson right where Schutte is.
Young for three. It's good.
It's
and
good.
It's a 4-point game.
Young likes it. Clapping his hands, telling the fans to get into it.
And the Cardinals have bounced off the ropes. We've got ourselves a ball game with 2.5 to go in the first half. Sulack fouled by Kyle Johnson on the way. Sulack may have shuffled the feet before the drive there, Mark.
Yeah, it looked like he did. Seemed to get to the spot a little quicker than most people. But really, for Coon Rapids, what really got him in the hole is what's really carried him out of the hole, and that's been defensive intensity. They gave up a lot of early baskets early, and what's got them back into the ball game is a lot of defensive stops and a lot of key steals.
A couple of key steals is what I was going to mention. One by Young, two by Kyle Johnson. Sulack misses the front end. Sulack's the best foul shooter among the Mustangs starters at 66.7%, but he's 1 out of 3 so far in this one. Missed them both. Chad Bey with the offensive rebound and the putback.
Well, you can't, if you're Coon Rapids, you can't let Bey get in that easily.
You get 2 missed free throws, a chance to come down and cut it to 2, and instead it's back up to 6. Young on the penetration, leans in and hits it. 7 points for Young.
I think really Coon Rapids needed Young to step up his game offensively. He has the type of quickness that he can get to the basket, draw fouls. He's an excellent foul shooter.
You asked me if I thought John Young had to take part of the scoring load. I think I'll answer yes. Sulack missed it, last touch by Jared Johnson, so the Mustangs will get it back.
Appeared to be a lot of contact down there. Sometimes the ref doesn't want to call the foul, but he'll give the ball to the team that was fouled, but that time he gave it back to Mounds View.
Ferch had it tipped away. Here's Chad Bey. Bey had to put it on the floor, then turns around and scores. You don't like to see your big man putting the ball down on the floor there.
Bey really has a tendency to do that.
Schutte inside. Nice feed from Kyle Johnson. And that's the other aspect, Mark, as they've been getting some baskets inside from Schultz and Schutte.
They really have. They've opened up the whole floor, Coon Rapids has. The outside, they've been hot, and they've been getting the ball down low for easy buckets as well.
The Cardinals are on a 19-8 run that has allowed them to sneak back within 4. Bagan with a long 3. Bagan hits it. It's back up to a 7-point spread.
Mounds View continues to hold off Coon Rapids with big shots.
Inside a minute to play, first half. Kyle Johnson finds Jared. Cardinals don't seem to be playing for one. They'd just like to get a good shot. Jared got it and hit it. 5-point ball game. See if the Mustangs will pull it out. Ferch says he wants to. Bey turns around and fires and missed it. And now the Cardinals with a big chance to get within 3.
I didn't think Bey should have took that shot right there. Just appeared to grab it and throw it up there.
Young with a long 3, and he missed it. I don't know if John Young realized how much time he had left.
Well, he's hitting himself right now. He's clapping, saying, what am I doing? But they got to feel very fortunate to be in the position they are right now with a good shot to make a good run at it in the second half.
They were on the verge of being blown out, but they're down by only 5 at halftime. Our halftime show is next. This is the 4AA final on KABL. At the end of the half, it is 31-26 in favor of the Mustangs. Welcome back to the Section 4AA basketball final here on KABL. Hope you're enjoying the ball game. What a second quarter, Mark. The Cardinals really showed some resiliency there. They could have very easily packed it in. They had been blown out by the Mustangs earlier this season. They fall behind 20-5, but they bounce back off the ropes. They got a big bucket from John Young, and that seemed to light a fire under this team. Had a chance to get within 3 just before the half.
Well, I think that's what Coon Rapids has gone through this season. Early on in the year against Mounds View, they got blown out. As they matured as a team and got, you know, that cohesiveness between teammates and stuff, they've really been playing their best ball. And I think Mounds View might have expected them to fold like they did in the first game.
The one thing the Cardinals were able to do is force the Mustangs into some costly turnovers there late in the half, Mark, because you look at the numbers, the Mustangs shot the ball well, but some big steals, a couple by Kyle Johnson, one by John Young, that came on a span of about 5 possessions and really allowed them to get back in the game in a hurry.
It really did. Coon Rapids has the defensive potential to be very good. Just like Mounds View, they have the type of athletes who they can press you if they want to. If they don't want to, they can play aggressive half-court defense. Defense is mental, and Coon Rapids just didn't have it in the first quarter. Mounds View took them apart, had a lot of easy shots in the second quarter. Coon Rapids just made up their mind that they were going to play tough defense, and it really showed. Johnson had some very nice steals, got to the free throw line, they got fast break points.
One of the things the Cardinals still really haven't done is gotten Kyle Johnson into the offense. He has only 5 points. He's hit only 1 field goal. Is that a point of concern in that Cardinal locker room?
Well, I think it is. I think they have some optimism, though, being in the position they are right now and knowing that Johnson really hasn't gone off, as you know. And you know when Johnson's on is when he catches that first pass and just shoots it and hits nothing but the bottom of that. And then you know Johnson's on top of his game. Every game that we've covered, we've seen him do that, whether it's been real late, like in the fourth quarter against Mounds View, or whether it's been all night long against a game against Champlain Park. So if you see Johnson just catch and shoot and all in one motion, you know Johnson's going to be on his game for the rest of the night.
One of the things that is key for them is another streak shooter in John Young. Young, when he gets hot, can really carry an offense, but one of the things that he didn't do a great deal of was penetrate. He did it a couple of times and got a couple of key baskets, but for the most part, the Mustangs kept him out on the perimeter.
They really did, and John Young has to use his quickness to get to the basket. He can do it. I don't know why he chooses not to, because he's such a strong passer and such a strong free throw shooter that really good things are going to happen when he gets to the basket.
Let's take a look at the first half numbers, and you'll see how the Cardinals were able to sneak back into this one after shooting dreadfully in the first quarter, 2 of 11. They turned it on a bit in the second quarter, and they're up to 39.3% for the ball game. Mustangs still shooting the ball very well at 48%. The rebounds fairly even, the turnovers even. One of the key numbers there, though, Mark, is the offensive rebounds, and that's something we need to keep an eye on for this Mustang defensive team, because in the last couple of ball games, they have given up really too many. 11 against Spring Lake Park, 14 against Stillwater. They need to be able to keep the Cardinals off the offensive glass in the second half.
They really do. They got burned quite a few times giving up offensive rebounds. Shooty's a battler, and they know that. Charlesworth is a battler. You just got to make sure you get a body on those players, because they're going to go to the offensive board every single time.
The Cardinals were blown out by the Mustangs earlier this year, but in that game, they still managed to out-rebound the Mustangs 45-35. They seem to have an edge in a number of players that can go to the glass. Do you think that's a problem for Mounds View?
I don't think it's really a problem, because I think these teams match up very well. It's just a lot of mental ability on both teams, whether you're going to take the time to box the guy out, because if you let a guy like Eric Ferch go free, he's going to get a rebound. If you let a guy like Kyle Johnson go free, he's going to go in there and get a rebound. They have similar type athletes, and really all it is mental, just boxing your man out every time the shot goes up.
The Mustangs lead it by 5 at the break. It's 31-26. Stay with us. This is the Section 4AA basketball final coming your way on KABL. Mustangs lead by 5 with Mark Horonsky. I'm Anthony LaPanta. Stay with us. Should be an exciting 16 minutes to determine a trip to the Civic Center next weekend. This is the Section 4 AA basketball final coming your way on KABL Sports. And we have a question now in front of the Cardinal bench. I'm not sure exactly what they were asking, but checking somebody's mouth guard, I believe. Cards will throw it in. And we're underway. John Young walks it up. He's met there by Sean Bagan. Johnson to Schutte on the block. Schutte works against Jacobs, got him up in the air and hits the short jumper.
Schutte's a big part of Coon Rapids' game. If he can establish a low post game, could be tough for Mounds. He's working on Jacobs. He's a little stronger than Jacobs is down low.
Jared Johnson working hard against Bagan on the defensive end. It's a 3-point lead at 31-28.
Schultz isn't starting this quarter.
They've decided to go to Charlesworth. Schultz is nursing a bad back, and they were wondering how much he'd be able to play. Eric Ferch turned it over. Cardinals have a chance to get within 1 or tie the ball game. Down by 3 is the closest they've been since it was 4-2. Big possession here for the Cards. They need a good shot.
They might have to look to Kyle Johnson right now.
Bey bats it away. Big steal by Chad Bey. Bagan to Bey, spins into the lane. His jumper's good.
Bey's just got sweet touch from anywhere within 15 feet. He jumps so well that he just goes over people.
That's a big bucket for Bey. It opens the lead back to 5.
You know, Coon Rapids' first 2 points of the game, they posted up Kyle Johnson on Ferch. I'm surprised they haven't went back to that. He does have a size advantage.
Charlesworth from 15, can't get the roll. Sean Bagan is there for the rebound. Jacobs outside the arc, blows by Charlesworth. Jacobs takes it all the way for the layup. 4 for Jacobs. Mustangs back on top by 7.
Jacobs is a very smart player. He doesn't do too many uncharacteristic things out there. That time he saw the whole lane and he took it. He's not the type of player that forces anything.
Jared goes over Sulack and missed it. Rebound, Jared tracks it down. Charlesworth watched by Bey. Kyle Johnson got Ferch up in the air, missed the jump shot. Rebound Bey.
Ferch is doing an outstanding job getting Kyle Johnson away from the basket, catching the ball, and he's right there. He's not giving him anything open.
Cardinals have done a great job keeping Bey off the glass. That's only his 2nd rebound of the game.
Schutte and Bey right now are really having a nice battle down low.
Mustangs have chosen not to match Bey with Schutte on the defensive end. Ferch fires a 3. And just like that, it's a 10-point Mustang lead. They've hit their first 3 shots of the 3rd quarter. And the Cardinals, who had a possession to get within 1, now find themselves down by 10.
Mounds View so explosive.
And they're patiently explosive. They just came down and calmly ran their offense, got good shots, and hit them all. Young on the penetration. Awful lot of contact. They go to the floor. We'll get a jump ball, and the Mustangs have possession. Young's upset, thought he should have had a foul call. May have actually been an offensive foul. Looked like good position there. Jacobs had slid in underneath him. Bagan against Jared Johnson. There's Ferch all alone underneath again. How many times can the Mustangs get that player open right under the basket? Kyle Johnson missed it. Jared with the offensive rebound, a foul. He'll get a chance for a 3-point play. Boy, if that isn't just what the Cardinals needed.
Oh, they really needed something positive to start happening for them. Mounds View starting to take control of the game again, and just like that, Coon Rapids gets a big bucket and more offensive rebounds.
Jared Johnson will be shooting 1 free throw. looking for his 7th point of the night. Free throw good by Johnson. It is 40-31. Big three-point play. Bey to Sulack for the layup.
The key to that play was Bagan going by 3 Coon Rapids defenders and putting Mounds View in a position where they had the numbers on the break, and Bey with a beautiful pass over to Sulack.
Can the Cardinals come from a big deficit twice? They were down 15, cut it down to 3. Now they're back down 11. Kyle Johnson. Entry pass, Schutte, tipped away by Chad Bey, but Schutte goes to the floor. What great hustle by Ryan Schutte.
Schutte's a workhorse.
Charlesworth inside, he's fouled before the shot. Second team foul against the Mustangs, and Mike Kauls will check in.
It's a nice look by Young to hit Charlesworth.
Jacobs picks up his 3rd. He's the only player in any sort of foul trouble. And he'll be replaced by Mike Nelson. Young to Schutte, back to Young. Young on the inside out play, penetrates, and that's a blocking foul against Mike Nelson. Cards may have gotten a break on that call, Mark. Watch it again. I thought Mike Nelson had good position. Oh, he leaned into him.
I thought it was a good call.
Nelson had position too. If he just wouldn't have somewhat thrown his weight into John Young, he probably would have drawn the charge. Young barely got it in time. Schutte's triple teamed and will go to the line looking for a 3-point play.
Just like Mounds, he seems to get the big baskets to keep a big lead. Coon Rapids seems to get the big 3-point plays to keep them in the ball game.
They called the foul against Mike Nelson, who picks up 2 of them in a span of about 30 seconds. The 3-point play closes the Cards within 8. 42-34 Mustangs. 3:13 remaining, 3rd period.
Coon Rapids is now going to have to do it on the defensive end again.
Here's a turnover, and Jared Johnson traveled with it. Cardinals give it back.
They just get a big break, and then Johnson traveled with the basketball. Looked at the ref and just nodded his head and said, yeah, I traveled. The ref said, I know.
Bagan. He's been harassed by Jared Johnson most of the night.
Johnson's a very fine defensive player as well.
Ferch lets a 3 sail. What an offensive board by Bey, but he missed it badly. Those are the first 2 missed field goals of the second half for the Mustangs, and Mike Nelson works himself into foul trouble. In a minute and 18 seconds of playing time, he's picked up 3 fouls. And that's now 5 team fouls against Mounds View in the second half, no doubt about it. Cardinals have yet to commit a foul. Young finds Kyle Johnson, but he missed it. He didn't look like he ever had control of it. Calls for 3. Mustangs by 11.
It's a nice look by Ferch, got in the lane. 2 defenders came on him and dumped it right off to Kauls for a big 3-point shot.
Garrett into the lane. His jumper's no good. Schutte with an offensive board and the putback. The offensive rebounds continue to kill the Mustangs. Calls again. How many times can you leave him alone?
Kauls is just in a shooting zone right now. Coon Rapids hasn't seemed to figure that out yet.
13 points for Mike Kauls. Schultz bumped by Nelson, can't get it to drop, and Kauls clears the boards.
Not a good shot by Schultz, just for the reason that he didn't have any rebounding close to the basket. All his players were on the perimeter. Mounds View with an easy rebound.
Kauls outside the arc, finds Sean Bagan. Bagan gets the layup.
Kauls showing other parts of his game as well, and Bagan with a nice acrobatic move down low.
The Mustangs are on top by 14. 1 minute remaining, third period. Young, nice dish for Ryan Schutte, and he will go to the line. Not a good foul for the Mustangs. No chance to stop Schutte. Watch it again. Foul went against Kauls, and he'll go to the bench. No chance to make that play. A little pumped up, I'm sure, with all the threes.
Yeah, when you start hitting those threes, you think you can do it all.
Ryan Schutte to the line. What a third period he has had. The free throw misses. Schultz with the offensive rebound. Missed it. And Chad Bey finally goes up and clears it.
Coon Rapids can't blow nice chances like that.
Schutte has 9 here in the third quarter, 15 for the game.
They just haven't been able to get Kyle Johnson into the flow yet in the second half.
Nelson traveled. .3.1 seconds remaining. Cardinals need a bucket here, down by 12.
If I was Coach Biggins right now, I'd look to get the ball in Kyle Johnson's hands to get him something before the end of the third quarter here.
He hit his first shot, has not hit another one from the outside yet. Nelson should get called for his fourth, and he does.
Nelson might have been a little frustrated on the offensive end with the travel and tried to pick it up defensively and push Schultz. Schultz got the basket to go for him.
4 quick fouls for Mike Nelson. And Pete Sulack checks into the ball game. Schultz to the line, looking for the three-point play. Cardinals have already had 2 of them and had Schutte with an opportunity for a third. Schultz got it. 4 times this quarter they've hit a shot and gone to the line looking for the three-point play. 5 in a row by the Cards have turned the 14-point deficit into a 9-point Mustang lead. 10 seconds to go. Ferch drives. He will go to the line.
That time the court was nicely spread out for Ferch, and he had his man one-on-one, and Ferch can beat almost any defender one-on-one.
Watch it again and watch the quickness of Eric Ferch. He just simply left John Young in his tracks. Young glanced up at the clock. Ferch saw it, blew past him. Ferch is such a smart player. He has 16. Mustangs are on fire here in the third period. Here's Kyle with 5 seconds. Has time, nearly lost it, now does. Sulack goes to the floor. Nobody gets control before the quarter comes to an end. And the Mustangs take an 11-point lead into the final 8 minutes. You are watching the Section 4AA final on KABL Sports. How's this for shooting in that third period, Mark? The Mustangs 5 of 6 on twos, 3 of 4 from outside the arc. You shoot 80%, and that's how you open up a 5-point lead to 11.
Mounds View is playing very well offensively. What's kept Coon Rapids in the game is maybe some dumb fouls down low by Mounds View.
And some offensive rebounds. They had 4 of them that period. Young with a nice feed for Schultz. It's a 9-point lead. If the Cardinals stay patient, they can stay in this ball game.
You know, Mounds View's not going to shoot 80% every quarter, so they still have a chance. They're still right in the ball game.
Although you know why they shoot 80%? Because every shot they get is a good one. Ferch missed it, forced that one up. Schutte with a rebound.
And Coon Rapids has given them some fairly easy shots.
Well, they've moved the ball so well. Kauls has been standing uncontested on all of his threes. Foul called against Chad Bey inside. Bey wanted a 3-second in the lane call. That's the first foul against Bey, where he and Schutte have been going nose to nose, and each of them has only one personal. This is a war that's going to go right down to the final buzzer.
That really is. They both work so hard down there to establish position. Both of them want to.
Schultz missed the front end, and Chad Bey grabs the rebound.
What's amazing there is Bey has played so aggressively the whole game and has only picked up one foul.
Sulack outside the arc. Kicks it out to Ferch. Ferch is double teamed and is fouled. He will go to the line. Ferch has had a somewhat quiet 17 thus far.
A lot of times your defensive efforts go overlooked, and he's gotten quite a few easy baskets off some steals and off some fast break opportunities.
Well, and when you score at a pretty constant pace throughout the night, sometimes you don't notice them all. Foul went against Kyle Johnson, and look out for the Cardinals. That's his fourth. Ferch missed 2 free throws, but then got his own rebound and tips it to Kauls. The Cardinals, for the second time, get a couple of missed free throws by the Mustangs, but then can't control the board. Bagan to Kauls, driving the baseline. And Michael Kauls has a career-high 15. Kyle Johnson offensive, and he fouls out with 6:31 remaining. And that is going to make a comeback very difficult.
It really is. I didn't even realize Kyle Johnson had 4 fouls.
He
Anthony,
had just
to be
picked
honest
up the
with
4th on the other end.
Not really sure that was a foul. It appeared Ferch was running right with him.
I wonder if we could watch that one again. As you see Bey and Ferch conversing. Tough to tell. I really didn't agree with the charging call at first instinct either, but at any rate, Mike George comes in. Let's try and watch it again. And you don't really see it there. Tough to tell, but Kyle Johnson knew it immediately. He goes to the bench. Falls to Jacobs on the baseline, and Jacobs scores.
Nice pass by Kauls. Jacobs strong underneath.
Bey with a block shot. Ferch couldn't save it, but what a defensive play by Chad Bey.
He appeared to cradle that in the air. Schultz might have to think about giving him a fake next time.
Watch this one again. Young comes away with a scrum and picks up a layup. And the lead is 11, 56-45. Mustangs trying to hang on and advance to the tournament for the first time since 1991. John Young comes up with a loose ball. Ferch just stumbled and fell. George outside the arc. Had it tipped away by Kauls, and he'll keep it.
With Kyle Johnson out, John Young definitely has to step it up from the outside.
Mike George has really not been much of an offensive threat for the Cardinals ever since the Christmas tournament. Had a couple of 9-point nights in that Christmas tourney, but has scored only 15 points since that time. Turnaround jumper by Schultz is no good. Kauls with a rebound. Mustangs looking for the knockout punch. They've had several chances to do it here tonight, and the Cardinals keep coming back. Right now it's an 11-point lead.
For Coon Rapids, how soon do you think about fouling him and making them earn it from the free throw line?
Well, the way this Mustang team shoots free throws, it's oftentimes tough to come back, but they have missed them late in a couple of ball games this year. They allowed White Bear Lake to come back and nearly beat them late in the season with some missed free throws.
They've also shown the ability to hold the ball for just about as long as they'd like to.
Oh, they really have. Cardinals have an awful lot of fouls to give. They can come out and be aggressive. Bagan with a dish for Chad Bey. Talked about a quiet 17 for Ferch. Bey has a dozen. Garrett stops and fires from 15. That's no good. Bey with a rebound. 4:20 remaining. Mustangs by 13. A traveling call against Mike Kauls. And he gets an earful from Dad on the bench. Marvelous game tonight for Mike. 15 points. And he will continue that. He's the second leading scorer on this team in the postseason. Charlesworth missed it. Rebound Ferch.
Coon Rapids has gone cold here.
Ferch will take it coast to coast. Missed the finger roll. Rebound Charlesworth. And the Cardinals bounce back one more time. Young got Ferch in the air, then Ferch came around to block it, but George with the offensive rebound. Jared Johnson will fire a three. That's no good. Bagan with a rebound. Bagan is bumped by Jared Johnson. So that's only the fourth team foul against the Cardinals here in the second half. Pete Sulack returns for the Mustangs. Well, you see just how much this Cardinal team loses when they lose Kyle Johnson. All of a sudden, John Young is your only real threat to score from the outside.
And you really need that if you're going to try to come back with threes. You got to have a couple of guys who can step out and hit a shot.
Bagan with a drive. Mustangs by 15. Equals their biggest lead of the night, but the last time the Cardinals bounced back. Can they do it again? Schutte spins over Jacobs. That's a tough shot.
Very tough shot by Schutte.
I think Jacobs wondering where that one came from after hours of studying game films.
I think Jacobs would be wise to give Schutte that shot anytime he would like it. It's an awful tough shot.
Inside 3 minutes remaining. Ferch down the lane. His layup is no good. A rebound, Charlesworth. Young will go coast to coast. A blocking. No, another offensive foul. Like a little indecision on the part of the official.
Yeah, it really did. He seemed to hesitate on the call.
Watch it again. Jacobs slides over. You're the official, Mark.
Just because Coon Rapids is losing, I think I'd give them the call that time. It was kind of a throw it up in the air kind of call. He was still sliding a little bit, but he appeared to have
So you're about as indecisive as the official
Just
was.
about. I'm glad I didn't have to call it.
Tough call. Two costly charges against Coon Rapids here in the fourth period. Schutte dives to tip it. Jacobs retrieves. Sulack to Bey. Mustangs by 15. And the Mustangs continue to light the house on fire here in the second half. Schutte scores inside.
Schutte's having a tremendous game, but isn't getting too much help from his teammates.
Foul here against Schutte out on the perimeter. Mark, the Mustangs are shooting 72.2% since the break.
Oh, shooting that type of percentage, you're going to beat just about any team in the state. I think a lot of that is hot shooting, and some of it is some poor defense by Coon Rapids. They've allowed Mounds View to penetrate, and they've been getting Mounds View easy layups all night long.
13-point lead for the Mustangs. They're a minute 33 away from putting this hot shooting on the floor against perhaps the state's best players. They'll face the winner of the Park Cottage Grove Cretin-Durham Hall Section 3AA final being played tonight over at Roy Wilkins Auditorium before a sellout crowd. Bagan is tied up and fouled, and finally the Mustangs are in the bonus, and the Cardinals let 21 precious seconds tick away before they get a foul, and perhaps Coach Biggins is thinking that not going to beat him by putting him on the line. We need steals, and if we don't get a lot of them, we're not coming back anyway.
Well, with a minute 16 left, they're down by 13 points. It's going to be an uphill battle. Figure go for the steal, go for it aggressively. If you foul and put them to the line, if not, just keep after them.
Bagan's first free throw is good. Coach Kauls told me before the game, he said, I think the key player tonight is Sean Bagan. If he can hit a couple of outside jumpers, he can stretch that defense, and it'll allow him some openings to penetrate. Well, he's hit a couple tonight. He's hit all 3 of his shots. Hit a big 3 in the second quarter.
He really did. That 3 was a couple of big shots by Mounds View that kept Coon Rapids out of the game, and that was one of them.
Young to Schutte, and he gets a quick timeout. Cardinals have closed to within 13 at 64-51. Ryan Schutte with an outstanding second half, 15 in the second half for Schutte, 21 for the game, which leads all scorers. But some of the keys tonight, the hot shooting of the Mustangs is a part of it, obviously, 72%, and they've just shown so many of their weapons tonight. We've talked about Mike Kauls continuing his hot shooting from the outside. We've talked about Eric Ferch on the penetration. Showed you some numbers in the pregame about the consistent play of Ferch and Bey. Well, Bey has continued it tonight as well. He's hit 6 out of 10, and the key is when he shoots 50%, Mark. If he's 50 or better, they are 19-0. When he's under 50, they struggle at 2 and 3. Tonight, over 50 at 6 out of 10 from the field.
Well, they really count on Bey quite a bit. When they penetrate, they look to get the ball to Bey, get the ball in his hands because he finishes so well down low.
And so many times what the teams have done to slow him down is put a body on him and really bang him around. Schutte did that as well as he could tonight, but he just wasn't able to stop the big man.
Well, Bey is just about as big as most guys who opposing teams throw at him. And so he's a football player. He likes the contact, and maybe that's not the best way to go at Bey.
Sean Bagan will go to the line for a 1-and-1. He hit both ends just moments ago.
Whatever the way is to stop Bey, there hasn't been a coach this year that's figured out how to do it.
23 teams in a row have tried, and 23 teams in a row have seen him score in double figures against them. John Young runs right over Bey, doesn't get a whistle, and the defensive board cleared by Sulack. In fact, the only team that held Bey in single figures this season was Blaine in the season opener when they shut him down, and what they did was elbowed him in the nose about halfway through the first half and sent him to the bench for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, I believe he suffered a slight concussion, and that's the only way you can stop a guy from getting double figures, and I sure wouldn't want to play against him.
Pete Sulack to the line. He misses the front end, and a rebound by Charlesworth. Down 13 with 40 seconds to go. Charlesworth is fouled by Sulack and will go to the line. Mustangs don't need any fouls at this stage of the game. But Mounds View appears that they will be headed back to state. They were there back-to-back seasons in 90 and 91. Then they were bounced in the section finals by Anoka in 92. In the semis by Anoka last year. And back in their 4th section final in the last 5 years under Coach Zig Kauls. Won his 400th ball game of the year of his career earlier this season. And the Mustangs will be headed back to the state tournament. The Cardinals come within a game had a chance to get back for the first time since Tom Copa wore the Cardinal uniform. You have to tip your cap to this team, Mark. They became the first Coon Rapids team in 11 seasons to reach a section final.
Yeah, Coon Rapids really played their hearts out tonight. Losing Kyle Johnson in the fourth quarter kind of was the big blow for them.
Well, the Mustangs have gone to the bench, and Garrett Ganske will go to the line for a 1-and-1. And now the Cardinals will do the same. And John Young's career as a Cardinal comes to a close. Perhaps one game sooner than he would have liked. But what a great senior season for Young, and Ryan Schutte heads to the bench. Chris Bagans and company can only take heart in the fact that it's been a long time since the Cardinals defeated a Mounds View team. In fact, the last Coon Rapids team to beat Mounds View was Tom Copa's team in '83. McGinley is fouled by Hetwer and will go to the line. But the Mustangs lead the all-time series with the Cardinals, now 35-9, and have now won a dozen meetings in a row since that '83 loss.
I'm sure Coach Biggins was hoping for a different outcome. Well, you got to tip your hat to this Mounds View team. They really played a tremendous game here tonight.
First free throw no good by McGinley. Second one coming with 22 seconds remaining. He missed that as well. With the rebound of the putback, Esboldt missed it. Here come the Cardinals into the front court. Hetwer misfired. McGinley with a board, and we'll play a little racehorse basketball. Layup good by Esboldt. The crowd counts it down, and the Mustangs head to the Civic Center. Coach Zig Kauls will bring the Mustangs to their 7th state tournament appearance, their first since 1991, and he's helped out by his son Michael's career-high 15 tonight. We'll be back with our post-game show from the Pavilion here at the University of Minnesota in just a moment. This is the Section 4AA Final coming your way on KABL. The Mustangs win it 66-53 and advance to the state tournament for the first time in 3 years. The 2-year reign of the Tornadoes was ended by Stillwater in the quarterfinals, but Mounds View is on their way one more time. A valiant effort by the Cardinals, but the senior seasons and careers come to an end for Jared Johnson, John Young, Ryan Schutte. A 13-point victory for the Mustangs, and they'll celebrate. Been a great year, and I think the most consistent and perhaps the top team throughout the season came away with the championship here tonight, as they will take a 22-3 record into the tournament. But right now, let's turn it over to the public address announcer, Mark Graves, for this year's awards presentations.
Award ceremony. Presenting the awards, the basketball director of Section 4AA, Ron Cadwell, and assisting him, the basketball director of the Section 6AA tournament, Whitey Johnson. Each member will receive a championship medal for his performance in this tournament. First, the runner-ups for this year's 1994 Section 4AA basketball tournament, the Coon Rapids Cardinals. Please come forward and receive your championship ribbon as your name is announced. Number 10, Kevin Wiltz. Number 12, Jeremy Hetwer. Number 14, Jeremy Tollefson. Number 20, Tony Levitt. Number 22, Jared Johnson. Number 24, John Young. Number 30, Joe Kelly. Number 32, Kyle Johnson. Number 34, Mike George. Number 40, Eric Skelton. Number 42, Scott Podesek. Number 44, Ryan Toll. Number 50, Mark Charlesworth. Number 52, Ryan Schultz. Number 54, Ryan Schutte. Student manager, Adam Pardo. Finishing 14-11 this season and runner-up this season in the Region 4 AA basketball tournament this year. Please come forward and receive your runner-up trophy, Chris Biggins and his Coon Rapids Cardinals. Congratulations on a fine season for Coon Rapids. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the champions of Section 4AA, the Mounds View Mustangs. #23, Sean Bagan. #25, Phil Wishart. Number 30, Jeff Jacobs. Number 32, Pete Sulack. Number 34, Charlie Esboldt. Number 35, Eric Ferch. Number 40, Mike Nilsson. Number 41, Mike Kauls. Number 42, Garrett Ganske. Number 44, Willie Wilson. Number 45, Dan Lunstad. Number 50, Matt McGinley. Number 52, Tad Olson. Number 53, Chad Bey. Number 55, David Bergstrom. Student manager, Bob Billman. And student manager, Brad Swoverland. Now would the captains of the Mounds View team come forward and receive their Section 4 AA Championship trophy.
Welcome back to the Pavilion. The Mustangs are on their way to the tournament for the 7th time as they win it tonight by a final score of 66-53. And we're joined by one of the biggest Mustangs, Chad Bey. Chad, another big night for you. You just seem to get free inside, and your teammates did a good job getting you the ball.
It was a great team effort tonight, you know. I mean, maybe I did good. I don't know yet. It's just a great feeling, but it was a great team effort. And, we're going to state. You know, it's awesome, awesome feeling. Unreal.
Now, this is your 3rd year on the varsity. You've been through a couple of sectional tournaments, lost in the final a couple of seasons ago, last year beaten by Anoka as well. It has to feel pretty good to finally get over the hump.
I know for football, we lost to Cretin 2 years in a row in the final, and my freshman year we lost to Anoka, and then last year we lost to Anoka, and this year we're finally going. It's a great feeling.
I'm sure you've had a lot of time to look ahead at this tournament. What do you expect next weekend at the Civic Center?
Great competition. Either we get, Jeff Ellens and Cretin or Sam Jacobson in Park, so we're not going to play any slouches once we get there, So it's going to be tough, but I think we'll do okay if we, play as a team and play well and come to play.
How about this Cardinal team? They showed some great heart. They were down 15, could have folded it up, and they bounced back and hung with you guys.
They did an excellent job. We kept saying put them away, put them away. That's all we got to do is put them away, and they're a great team. They kept coming back. I think we were ahead by 12 or so at one point, and then all of a sudden it's like 5. And they're a great team. They got, they're a good club.
Well, Chad, congratulations. Let you enjoy this one a little bit, and good luck next weekend.
Thank you very much.
That's Chad Bey. He's on the way to the Civic Center. Stay with us. We'll have more from the Pavilion in just a moment.
Okay, bye-bye. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's a commonly used phrase to end a telephone conversation, as in, hasta la vista, baby. But our use of okay, bye-bye has a different meaning altogether. Now, according to Webster, okay means agreement, and the definition of buy is something underpriced, or a bargain. Therefore, okay, bye-bye means agreeable bargains, which you'll find on the Okay, Bye-Bye show only on Channel 52. And by buying here, you'll avoid that sucking sound of money being pulled into the...
Welcome back to the Pavilion. The Mustangs are on their way to the tournament. They win it by 13, and we're joined again by some of the winners and Coach Zig Kauls. You've been to a couple of tournaments before. This one has to feel even better knowing that you're going with your son, Michael.
Well, it is, because, the chances are always very small, and it isn't just Michael, it's the surrounding players that have really made it special. They worked very hard during the summertime. They played together as a team in some of these AAU all-star events, and I think it paid off for them at the end. And of course, it is special when you have your son in it.
You had to withstand a couple of big runs by that Cardinal team tonight. They just seemed to keep coming back, and they never said die, but your team was able to make the big buckets when they needed them.
Yeah, part of it was probably my fault. I maybe had the kids stay in the zone a little bit too long. I was thinking that we'd stay out of foul trouble, and also it'd give us some energy for the 3rd and 4th quarter, and maybe it did, but it put a scare in us. And I think Mark Zimbrowicz, my assistant, he said, Coach, I think they're too comfortable now. We've probably let them off the hook here a little bit.
One of the things you were able to do is shut down Kyle Johnson. He really never got on track in their offense, only hit 1 field goal.
I thought Eric did a tremendous job on him. Last time we played him, we held Kyle without a field goal for 3 quarters, so he scored all his baskets against our second team the first time. But Eric has done just a tremendous job on him. He's a fine player, and we'll probably pay for it next year.
Now, Coach, you've taken a number of teams to the tournament. How does this one compare to some of those as far as their mental makeup, the way they get ready for a ball game? Does this one have what it takes to go all the way?
Well, you know, you never know. You need some breaks along the way. But I think they've prepared themselves well, and they've been very consistent. They've been very coachable during the year. And so from that standpoint, the stability and, you know, being able to go to practice with a good feeling, that's probably been one of the best things about this team. I'm sure we've had individual players that have been superior to any of the players we've had here, but collectively as a team, I told the boys that this is one of the steadiest teams that we've had at Mounds View, and you know, kind of maybe it's persistence, I guess.
Well, Coach, I'll let you savor the victory, and I know you've got a lot of work to do. Either Sam Jacobson or Jeff Ellen's going to be lining up against you next week.
Yeah, 2 great players, and we've got people in the stands, and we'll see how it all looks when we see the scores and try to plan for next week.
Congratulations, they got a big year.
Thank you, Anthony.
That's Coach Zig Kauls, and now we're joined by the other Kauls on this team. Mike, you had your career high tonight with 15 points, hit a couple of big threes, and it really just seemed like you got in a groove where you felt like you couldn't miss.
Well, Ferch penetrated and got me some good looks, and I was fortunate enough to make them, I guess. I don't know.
You've been coming on all second half, and it just seems like it's picking up momentum more and more as the season goes on. But you have to feel good to be becoming more a stable part of this offense as the team goes to state.
Yeah, I kind of started out pretty slow and didn't have much confidence. And I just had a couple big games, Forest Lake and Stillwater, and it just helped me build my confidence, and it's gone from there.
It has to help as well coming into an offense that has so many other weapons. You know you don't have to carry the load on a given night.
Well, I don't really create any shots for myself. It's mostly Eric here, and he drives and pitches, and most of the time he drives his man and gives me an open shot. And then Bagan, with good point guard, he gets the ball where it should be.
Was there a point during the season that you knew, hey, we've got what it takes to get to a tournament?
We kind of started saying that this summer. We really thought we had a good team coming in. Some of the summer tournaments, we beat the Minnesota Stars at St. Cloud this summer, and we knew we could play with anybody then.
All right, well, Mike, good luck next weekend at the Civic Center.
Thanks.
Eric Ferch, a big part of your game tonight was on the defensive end. You were matched up with Kyle Johnson. Last time around, he doesn't get a field goal at all until the backups come in. This time he hits their first shot and then doesn't get another field goal the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's our game plan. Was matched up on him, and that's what I said beforehand is I'm going to concentrate on Kyle Johnson, work on the defensive end. If anything happens on the offensive end, that's just an added bonus. I was just in there for defense mainly tonight.
Well, now looking ahead, you're going to have your hands full in the first round Wednesday night. Either way, it's either going to be Sam Jacobson or Jeff Ellens, and most likely you'll be the man asked to stop them.
Yeah, well, I don't think stopping them is a good word. Either one, I'll try to contain as much as I can. But if we can, they'll get their 30 either way. Especially Sam. If we can contain the rest of the team, then that'll help us a lot. I think we can come through with a victory.
I asked Michael about the many different weapons your offense has, and the thing you seem to bring is the penetration skills, and you were able to penetrate this defense tonight.
Yeah, I really look to drive and penetrate and then kick it out to Michael or Sean or Pete, for outside shot, or else if Bey's man helps, you give it to him for an easy 2.
Does this even feel sweeter going in your senior season?
Oh, this is the greatest feeling in the world. Earlier this summer, we had a team in Hoop Fest called Respect because we didn't feel we got much at all, and we knew that we had a pretty good team and a pretty good chance at doing well in the regions, and it turned out that we made it to the finals and then we won it. It's just great.
Well, Eric, congratulations on a nice game here tonight, a great season, and good luck next weekend at the Civic Center.
Thank you very much.
That's Eric Ferch. He and the Mustangs are headed to the Civic Center where they'll square off against the Section 3AA champ on Wednesday night. Mustangs win it by 13. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this Section 4AA basketball final. As we leave you from the pavilion, let's take a final look back as the Mustangs were simply the best in 4AA. Caught the ball on the post and passed up an easy shot. Kyle for three, comes up short. And the rebound grabbed by Sulack. Into the front court, Jacobs all the way for the layup. Mustang by 11. And the Mustangs have it back, leading by 13. Bagan. There's Ferch all alone on the baseline.